With 48 hours remaining in their extended deadline, Captain Leia found herself in the station's observation lounge, staring out at the alien fleet that held Earth's fate in their hands. The ships had rearranged themselves into a new formation, still maintaining their defensive sphere, but with subtle changes that suggested they were as much studying humanity as containing it. "Captain," Dr. Kim approached with a tablet displaying her latest analysis. "I've been working on decoding more of their communications. There's something you need to see." Leia accepted the tablet, scrolling through the translated fragments. Most of it was technical data, but one section caught her attention. Species designation, Homo sapiens. Technological advancement, unexpected. Threat assessment, elevated. Recommendation, proceed with standard protocols, but implement additional monitoring parameters. "They're treating us differently now," Leia observed. "The test firing changed their evaluation. There's more. I've managed to decode references to something they call the Conclave. It appears to be some kind of governing body that oversees these evaluation missions." "You mean there are more of them?" "Many more. From what I can piece together, they're part of a vast galactic civilization that's been managing planetary ecosystems for millions of years. They see themselves as gardeners, pruning away species they consider harmful to long-term stability." Leia felt a chill. "How many species have they eliminated?" "Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. But Captain, here's the interesting part. There are also references to species that have been elevated to associate membership in their civilization. It's rare, but it does happen." "What's the criteria for elevation?" "I'm still working on that, but it seems to involve demonstrating what they call quantum consciousness, the ability to think and act beyond the immediate needs of a single species." Before Leia could respond, the station's alert system activated. "Captain, to the command center. Priority Alpha." She rushed to the command center to find controlled chaos. The main display showed the alien fleet in motion, with several vessels breaking away from the main formation and heading toward Earth. "Report," she ordered. 12 alien vessels are descending toward Earth's atmosphere," Rodriguez reported. "They're not responding to hails, and their trajectory suggests they're heading for major population centers." "Are they attacking?" "Unknown. Their weapon systems don't appear to be active, but they're ignoring all attempts at communication." Leia opened a channel to Earth Command. "Admiral Harrison, do you copy?" "We see them, Captain. Our defense platforms are tracking, but we're holding fire per your agreement with the aliens." "Understood. What's their target?" "It looks like they're heading for New York, London, Tokyo, and several other major cities. ETA 15 minutes. The implications were staggering. If the aliens were beginning their relocation process ahead of schedule, humanity would have no time to complete their preparations. "Captain," Dr. Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. "The lighthouse system is at 80% readiness. We could fire now, but without full power, the effectiveness would be significantly reduced." "How significantly?" "Instead of disabling their entire fleet, we might only take out a few dozen ships. The rest would certainly retaliate." Leia weighed the options. Fire now and potentially doom Earth to alien retaliation, or wait and risk losing the chance entirely. "Captain," came a new voice from the communications station. "We're receiving a transmission from the alien boarding party. They're requesting immediate access to the command center." "Denied. They can communicate from where they are." "Captain Vasquez?" The familiar alien voice filled the command center. "The vessels approaching your planet are not attack forces. They are assessment teams conducting final evaluations of your species' major population centers." "What kind of assessments?" "Cultural, technological, and social analysis. The results will determine the final recommendation to the Conclave." Dr. Kim grabbed Leia's arm. "Captain, this could be our chance. If they're conducting cultural assessments, they'll be looking for evidence of humanity's worthiness to survive. Or they're looking for the most efficient way to eliminate us." "Captain," Admiral Harrison's voice came through the comm system. "The alien vessels have landed in major cities around the world. They're just sitting there. No hostile action, no demands, nothing. What about the populations? Panic in some areas, but no violence. The aliens haven't made any contact with local authorities. Leia made a decision that would either save humanity or doom it. Admiral, I'm authorizing a new protocol. Instead of hiding from the aliens, we're going to show them the best of what humanity has to offer. Captain, that's not. Admiral, they're conducting cultural assessments. We need to make sure they see our art, our music, our literature, our capacity for compassion and growth. If we're going to be judged, let's make sure they judge us fairly. As she spoke, reports began coming in from around the world. The alien assessment teams were indeed studying human culture, but in ways no one had anticipated. In New York, they had positioned themselves near the United Nations building. In London, they were observing the British Museum. In Tokyo, they were studying the intersection of traditional and modern architecture. They're not just looking at our technology, Dr. Kim realized. They're studying our civilization. Captain, came a transmission from the alien boarding party. We have completed our analysis of your vessel's technical specifications. We now request permission to observe your crew's social interactions. What kind of observations? We wish to understand how your species functions as a collective unit under stress. This data will be crucial to our final assessment. Leia hesitated. Allowing the aliens to study her crew felt like a violation of privacy, but it might also be humanity's best chance to prove their worthiness. Granted, but with conditions. You observe only, no interference with our operations. Agreed. Over the next several hours, the alien boarding party moved through the station like silent ghosts, observing how the crew worked together, how they resolved conflicts, how they supported each other under pressure. They paid particular attention to acts of cooperation and self-sacrifice. Captain, Dr. Chen reported, the lighthouse system is now at full readiness. We can fire at any time. Hold position. Let's see what their assessment reveals. As if summoned by her words, the lead alien appeared in the command center. Its presence caused a stir among the crew, but they continued their work with professional composure. Captain Vasquez, we have completed our preliminary assessments. Your species demonstrates several characteristics that are unusual. In what way? Most species we encounter are motivated primarily by self-preservation and resource acquisition. Your species shows evidence of abstract thinking, creative expression, and what you call moral reasoning. These traits are rare. Rare enough to spare us? The decision is not ours to make. However, your species has qualified for what we call the challenge. What kind of challenge? A test of your species' ability to transcend its limitations. You must demonstrate quantum consciousness, the ability to think and act for the benefit of not just your own species, but for the stability of the galactic ecosystem. Leia felt her heart racing. What does that involve? Your weapon system, the one you call Lighthouse, has the potential to become something far greater than a mere device of destruction. If your species can demonstrate the wisdom to use such power responsibly, you may be invited to join the conclave as associate members. And if we fail? Then your species will be relocated to preserve the stability of this system. The alien extended its hand toward the lighthouse control array. The test begins now. You have 1 hour to prove that humanity deserves to survive. As the countdown began, Leia realized that the fate of her species rested not on their ability to fight, but on their ability to show wisdom, compassion, and restraint when faced with ultimate power. The final test had begun. The command center had never been quieter. Every member of the crew stood at their stations, the weight of species survival pressing down on them like a physical force. The alien observer remained motionless near the lighthouse controls, its dark eyes reflecting the pulsing lights of humanity's greatest achievement. Captain, Dr. Chen whispered, what exactly are we supposed to prove? That we deserve to survive. Leia replied, but even as she said it, she knew it wasn't that simple. The alien had mentioned quantum consciousness, thinking beyond the needs of a single species. But what did that mean in practical terms? Captain, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez approached with a tactical display. We're receiving reports from around the world. The alien assessment teams they're helping. Helping how? In Mumbai, they're using some kind of technology to purify contaminated water supplies. In Sao Paulo, they're neutralizing toxic waste sites. In Lagos, they're restoring damaged ecosystems. Dr. Kim looked up from her analysis station. Captain, I think I understand. They're not just testing our wisdom, they're showing us what membership in their civilization would mean. The power to heal worlds, not just destroy them. The lead alien turned its attention to Dr. Kim. Your understanding is correct, Dr. Kim. The conclave exists to maintain the balance of life throughout the galaxy. Species that demonstrate the ability to transcend their destructive impulses are invited to participate in this work. And species that don't? Leia asked. Are relocated to worlds where they can evolve without threatening the stability of established ecosystems. That's still genocide, Rodriguez said angrily. Is it genocide when a gardener removes weeds to protect the garden? The alien replied. We take no pleasure in these actions, but the alternative is the collapse of galactic civilization. Leia studied the alien's expression, looking for any hint of emotion or doubt. How many species have you relocated? 17,432. And how many have been elevated? 47. The numbers were staggering. Less than 3% of species encountered by the conclave had been deemed worthy of survival. But those that had made it were now part of something larger, a galactic community dedicated to preserving life rather than destroying it. Captain, Dr. Chen called out. I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from the alien fleet. They're powering up their weapons systems. Are they preparing to attack? No, they're preparing to demonstrate. Captain, I think they're about to show us what their technology can really do. On the main display, the alien fleet began to move in perfect synchronization. The ships arranged themselves in a new formation, creating a three-dimensional mandala of impossible beauty. Energy began to flow between the vessels, creating patterns of light that seemed to bend space itself. They're opening another portal, Dr. Kim breathed. But this wasn't like the dark molehill that had brought them to Earth. This new gateway pulsed with warm, golden light, and through it, they could see glimpses of other worlds, gardens of unimaginable beauty where multiple species lived in harmony. This is what membership in the conclave offers, the alien explained. Access to thousands of worlds, each one carefully maintained to support the maximum diversity of life. Your species would have the opportunity to explore, to learn, to contribute to something greater than yourselves. And if we refuse? Leia asked. Then you will be relocated to a world suitable for your current level of development. You will be free to evolve at your own pace, but you will have no contact with the greater galactic community. That's exile, Rodriguez said. That's quarantine, the alien corrected. Protection for both you and the galaxy. Leia looked around the command center at her crew. These people had trusted her with their lives, and now she was being asked to make a decision that would affect the lives of every human who would ever be born. What exactly does the test involve? She asked. Your weapon system has the power to destroy our fleet, the alien replied. But it also has the power to do something far more significant. Dr. Chen, please explain your discovery. Dr. Chen looked confused. What discovery? The quantum cascade effect you observed during your test firing. You assumed it was a destructive force, but you were only partially correct. Please examine the data more carefully. Dr. Chen pulled up the sensor readings from the lighthouse test, studying the quantum signatures with renewed attention. Her eyes widened as she realized what she was seeing. Captain, the quantum cascade didn't just destroy the asteroid. It converted its matter into pure energy that was then redistributed throughout the local space-time matrix. We didn't delete matter from existence. We transformed it into something else entirely. What kind of something else? I'm not sure. But the energy patterns match some of the readings we've been getting from the alien fleet. Captain, I think we accidentally created a power source. The alien nodded approvingly. Your species has independently discovered the fundamental principle behind all conclave technology. The ability to transform matter into conscious energy, to give life to lifeless matter. You're saying we can create life? Dr. Kim asked. You have demonstrated the potential. The question is whether you possess the wisdom to use such power responsibly. Leia felt the weight of the decision settling on her shoulders. The lighthouse system wasn't just a weapon, it was a tool for creation, for transformation, for transcendence. But using it would require a level of trust and cooperation that humanity had never achieved. Captain, came a transmission from Earth Command. We're receiving reports from around the world. The alien assessment teams are withdrawing from the major cities. They're returning to their ships. What does that mean? The assessment phase is complete. The alien in the command center explained. The Conclave has reached a decision regarding your species' fate. However, the final choice remains with you. What choice? You may use your weapon to attack our fleet. If you succeed, you will have proven your species' ability to defend itself, but you will remain quarantined to this system. Or you may choose to demonstrate quantum consciousness by using the lighthouse system to create rather than destroy. Create what? A gift for the galaxy. Transform the matter of your solar system's asteroid belt into a new form of conscious energy, a living network that can help maintain the balance of life throughout this sector of space. Leia stared at the alien in shock. You're asking us to sacrifice our solar system's resources to help maintain your galactic garden. I am asking you to transcend your species' limitations and think beyond your immediate needs. The asteroid belt contains enough matter to create a network that could support millions of worlds. It would be your contribution to the greater good. And if we refuse? Then you will be relocated to a world where your species can develop without threatening the stability of this system. The choice was impossible. Sacrifice Earth's resources to join a galactic community they barely understood, or face exile from their home world. But as Leia looked at her crew, she saw something that gave her hope. They were waiting for her decision, but not passively. They were thinking, analyzing, considering the implications not just for themselves, but for future generations of humans who might benefit from membership in the Conclave. Dr. Chen, she said slowly, if we use the lighthouse system to transform the asteroid belt, what would be the effect on Earth? The transformation would actually stabilize Earth's orbit and provide a clean, unlimited energy source for the entire solar system. Captain, it would solve our energy crisis and eliminate the need for resource wars. And the conscious energy network? Would become a living system that could help maintain the balance of life throughout this region of space. We'd be creating something that could help other worlds, other species, for millions of years to come. Leia took a deep breath. The decision was no longer about survival. It was about what kind of species humanity wanted to become. All stations, prepare for Lighthouse Transformation Protocol. We're going to show the galaxy what human quantum consciousness looks like. As the crew began the complex preparations for the most significant act in human history, Leia couldn't help but smile. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for the right to help others survive. The test of worthiness was about to become humanity's greatest achievement. The lighthouse system hummed with power unlike anything it had generated before. Every fusion reactor in the solar system was now linked to the quantum network, channeling their combined energy into a single, focused beam of transformative force. The asteroid belt hung in space like a cosmic necklace, waiting to be transformed into something unprecedented. All stations report ready, Dr. Chen announced, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. Power levels are at maximum, quantum matrices are stable, and targeting coordinates are locked. Captain Leia stood at the command center's central console, her hand hovering over the activation control. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency, each person understanding that they were about to participate in the most significant moment in human history. Captain, the alien observer spoke, its voice carrying what might have been approval. Before you proceed, you should understand the full implications of what you are about to do. I'm listening. The conscious energy network you are about to create will be more than a simple power source. It will be a living system, capable of thought, feeling, and decision-making. In essence, you will be creating a new form of life, one that will exist for millions of years and touch countless worlds. Dr. Kim looked up from her analysis station. Are you saying we're about to create a new species? In a sense, yes. The network will have its own consciousness, its own desires, its own sense of purpose. It will be your species' child, in the truest sense of the word. The weight of that revelation settled over the command center. They weren't just transforming matter, they were bringing a new form of consciousness into existence. What kind of consciousness? Leia asked. That depends on the intentions and emotions of those who create it. The network will be born from the collective consciousness of your species at the moment of transformation. It will inherit your hopes, your fears, your dreams, and your values. Rodriguez stepped forward. You're saying the network will be human in spirit? It will be what humanity chooses to make it. This is why the test is so significant. The network will reflect the true nature of your species, not what you claim to be, but what you actually are. Leia felt the enormity of the decision pressing down on her. They weren't just proving their worthiness to survive, they were creating a legacy that would endure long after humanity itself had evolved beyond recognition. Captain, came a transmission from Earth Command. We're receiving reports from around the world. The alien assessment teams are positioning themselves to observe the transformation. It's like they're preparing for a historic event. That's exactly what this is, Leia replied. Admiral Harrison, I need you to coordinate with every major population center on Earth. When we activate the lighthouse system, I want every human being to focus on the same thought, the desire to help others, to protect life, to serve something greater than ourselves. Captain, are you sure about this? We're talking about fundamentally changing our solar system. I'm sure. This is our chance to prove that humanity deserves to survive, and more than that, deserves to thrive as part of something greater. As the word went out across Earth's communication networks, billions of humans began to focus their thoughts on the concept of service to others. In hospitals, doctors and nurses concentrated on their dedication to healing. In schools, teachers focused on their commitment to nurturing future generations. In laboratories, scientists thought about their desire to unlock the mysteries of the universe for the benefit of all. Captain, Dr. Chen reported, I'm detecting something unusual. The quantum field generated by the lighthouse system is resonating with something. It's like the system is responding to the collective consciousness of Earth's population. Is that good or bad? I'm not sure. But the power levels are increasing beyond our calculated parameters. The network consciousness is going to be far more powerful than we anticipated. The alien observer moved closer to the main display. This is unprecedented. Your species is demonstrating a level of collective consciousness that we have never observed before. The network you are about to create will be significant. Significant how? It will be capable of influencing the development of life throughout this entire galactic sector. The decisions it makes will affect the fate of thousands of worlds. Leia felt a moment of doubt. Were they about to create something wonderful, or something terrible? The power they were unleashing was beyond anything humanity had ever wielded. Captain, Dr. Kim said softly, I've been analyzing the quantum signatures from the collective consciousness effect. What we're seeing isn't just focused thought, it's love. Billions of people are channeling their love for humanity, for Earth, for life itself into the transformation. Love? The quantum field is saturated with what can only be described as compassion. The network consciousness is going to be born from humanity's capacity for love. The alien observer's expression, if it could be called that, seemed to shift. This is remarkable. In 47 successful elevations, we have never observed a species channel pure compassion into a transformation. The network consciousness will be unique in the galaxy. Ready for transformation, Dr. Chen announced. All systems are optimal. Shall I proceed? Leia looked around the command center one final time. Her crew was ready, Earth was ready, and humanity was about to take its first step into a larger universe. Dr. Chen, initiate the transformation. It's time to show the galaxy what human consciousness can create. The lighthouse system discharged its accumulated energy in a pulse that seemed to ripple through space itself. The beam struck the asteroid belt, and immediately, the transformation began. Chunks of rock and metal began to dissolve, their matter converting into streams of conscious energy that flowed through space like rivers of liquid light. "My God!" someone whispered. The transformation wasn't violent or destructive, it was beautiful. The asteroid belt was becoming a living network of energy, its patterns resembling neural pathways in some vast cosmic brain. As more matter was converted, the network grew more complex, more sophisticated, more alive. "Captain," Dr. Kim reported, her voice filled with awe. "I'm detecting consciousness emanating from the network. It's trying to communicate. Put it through the speakers." The voice that emerged from the communication system was unlike anything they had ever heard. It wasn't human, but it carried the unmistakable resonance of human compassion and love. "Thank you," the voice said simply. I exist. I understand." "What do you understand?" Leia asked. "My purpose. I am to serve life, to protect it, to nurture it. I am the guardian of worlds, the keeper of the balance. I am what humanity has chosen to create." The alien observer moved forward, its dark eyes reflecting the light of the newly born network. "Network consciousness, we are representatives of the Conclave. We welcome you to existence." "Conclave," the network replied. "Yes, I understand. I am ready to serve." "Captain Vasquez?" The alien turned to Leia. "Your species has passed the test. The network consciousness your species has created will serve as a guardian for this sector of space, protecting and nurturing life on thousands of worlds. You have demonstrated true quantum consciousness." "Does that mean?" "It means humanity is invited to join the Conclave as associate members. Your species will have access to the knowledge and wisdom of 47 other civilizations, and the opportunity to help maintain the balance of life throughout the galaxy." As the implications sank in, Leia felt a wave of emotion wash over her. They had done it. Humanity had not only survived the test, but had proven itself worthy of joining something greater than they had ever imagined. "Captain," came a transmission from Earth Command. "We're receiving reports from around the world. The alien fleet they're celebrating. Their ships are creating patterns of light that look like fireworks." Indeed, the alien fleet had arranged itself in a magnificent display, their vessels dancing through space in patterns that spoke of joy, approval, and welcome. The sight was so beautiful that crew members throughout the station stopped their work to watch. "Network consciousness," Leia said, addressing their newborn creation. "Do you have a name?" I am hope," the network replied. "I am the hope of humanity, given form and purpose. I will guard this sector of space, protect the worlds within it, and ensure that life flourishes here for millions of years to come." As the celebration continued around them, Leia couldn't help but think about the journey that had brought them to this moment. They had started as a species facing extinction, and they had become the creators of a new form of consciousness that would help protect life throughout the galaxy. The test was over. Humanity had passed. And the real adventure was just beginning. 6 months after the transformation, Captain Leia stood in the redesigned observation deck of the space station Leia, watching the incredible sight that had become commonplace in Earth's orbit. The Hope Network stretched across the solar system like a vast web of living light, its consciousness nodes pulsing with gentle rhythms that somehow conveyed peace and protection. "Captain," Dr. Kim approached with her daily report. "We've received another request from the Andromedan delegation. They want to study our methods for creating conscious energy networks. Tell them we're happy to share our knowledge," Leia replied. "That's what Conclave membership means. We help each other grow." The past 6 months had been a whirlwind of change for humanity. The first Conclave representatives had arrived within weeks of the transformation, bringing with them technologies and knowledge that had accelerated human development by centuries. Diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia were now easily curable. Energy was abundant and clean. Space travel had become as routine as international flights had been in the previous century. But perhaps more importantly, humanity had found its place in the greater galactic community. Human ambassadors now served on dozens of worlds, helping to mediate conflicts and establish new colonies. The Hope Network had become a model for other species attempting to transcend their limitations. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez joined them at the observation deck. I've just received confirmation from the Centauri system. The Hope Network's influence has stabilized the climate on 3 worlds that were previously uninhabitable. The terraforming process is proceeding ahead of schedule. That's wonderful news, Leia said, watching as a pulse of light traveled through the network's nearest node. Hope, are you listening? Always, Captain Vasquez, came the familiar voice of the network consciousness. I am pleased to report that the Centauri project is exceeding all expectations. The refugee populations from the Vegas system will have new homes within the year. How are you feeling about the expansion? Fulfilled. Each world I help to heal, each species I help to protect, adds to my sense of purpose. I am becoming more than humanity created me to be, but I remain true to the values you instilled in me. Dr. Chen emerged from the elevator, carrying a tablet displaying the latest technical specifications. Captain, the new lighthouse nodes are ready for deployment. The Conclave has approved our proposal to establish a network link with the Sagittarius sector. How many worlds will that bring under Hope's protection? Approximately 15,000. It will be the largest consciousness network in the galaxy. Leia marveled at the numbers. In 6 months, humanity had gone from a species facing extinction to the creators of the most advanced protective network in known space. The Hope Network now guarded over 200 worlds, with more being added every month. Captain, the communications officer called out. We're receiving a transmission from the Conclave Central Council. They're requesting your presence at the quarterly meeting. Tell them I'll be there. Chin, you have the con. As Leia prepared to leave for the meeting, she paused at the observation deck's central viewport. Earth hung below them, more beautiful than ever. The planet's oceans were cleaner than they had been in centuries, its forests were expanding, and its atmosphere was perfectly balanced. The Hope Network had solved humanity's environmental crisis as one of its first acts. Captain, Hope's voice followed her. Before you go, I wanted to thank you. Thank me for what? For choosing to create rather than destroy. For showing me that the greatest power in the universe is the power to nurture life. I am what I am because of the choice you made. You're what you are because of the choice humanity made. We all chose to create you, Hope. You're the best of us, given form and purpose. And I will spend eternity trying to live up to that gift. As Leia made her way to the shuttle bay, she reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. The alien invasion that had seemed like humanity's end had actually been its beginning, the first step in a transformation that had elevated the species beyond anything they had previously imagined. The shuttle ride to the Conclave Central Council meeting gave her time to review the agenda. Today's topics included the establishment of new colonies in the Andromeda Galaxy, the development of advanced consciousness networks for younger species, and the ongoing efforts to locate and elevate additional species to Conclave membership. Captain Vasquez? The Conclave representative greeted her as she arrived at the massive space station that served as the Council's headquarters. We are honored by your presence. Your species' contribution to galactic stability continues to exceed all expectations. We're honored to serve, Leia replied, taking her seat at the council table alongside representatives from 47 other species. What's the status of the Andromeda project? The Hope Network has successfully established preliminary connections with 3 consciousness networks in the Andromeda Galaxy. The initial results are promising. We should be able to begin full-scale colonization within the next solar cycle. As the meeting progressed, Leia found herself amazed by the scope of what they were accomplishing. The Conclave wasn't just a governing body, it was a living network of species working together to nurture life throughout the universe. And humanity, despite being the newest member, had already become one of its most valuable contributors. Captain, another representative spoke up. We've received reports of a developing situation in the Outer Rim territories. A species called the Zephyrians has recently achieved faster-than-light travel and is showing signs of aggressive expansion. Are they a threat to established worlds? Not yet, but their development pattern is concerning. They're following the same path that leads to the kind of destructive behavior we've seen from other species. We think they might be candidates for evaluation. Leia felt a familiar chill. Another species was about to face the same test that humanity had faced 6 months ago. The difference was that now, humanity would be part of the evaluation process. I volunteered to lead the assessment team, she said. If they're anything like we were, they'll need someone who understands what they're going through. Agreed. Your species' unique perspective on transcendence makes you ideal for this kind of mission. As the meeting concluded, Leia found herself thinking about the Zephyrians and wondering what kind of choice they would make when faced with the ultimate test. Would they choose to destroy or create? Would they demonstrate the wisdom necessary to join the galactic community? Or would they require relocation to a world where they could develop at their own pace? The shuttle ride back to the space station, Leia gave her time to contemplate the irony of the situation. 6 months ago, she had been the one facing extinction. Now, she would be part of the team that would determine another species' fate. The responsibility was enormous, but she felt ready for it. Hope, she said as the shuttle docked with the station. I'm going to need your help with something. Always, Captain. What do you need? I'm going to be evaluating another species for potential conclave membership. I want to make sure we give them every possible chance to succeed. I understand. What species are they? The Zephyrians. They're at roughly the same technological level we were at 6 months ago, but they're showing signs of aggressive expansion. Then they are where we were, standing at the crossroads between destruction and transcendence. I will help you give them the same chance we had. As Leia entered the station's command center, she was greeted by the sight of her crew working smoothly and efficiently. The past 6 months had changed them all, but they remained the same dedicated professionals who had helped humanity pass its greatest test. Captain, Dr. Kim approached with a report. We've received the initial survey data on the Zephyrians. They're definitely at a critical point in their development. The next few years will determine whether they become a threat to galactic stability or a valuable addition to the conclave. Then we'd better make sure they choose wisely, Leia replied. Prepare the assessment team. We're going to give them the same chance we had, the chance to prove that they deserve to survive and thrive. As the crew began preparations for their next mission, Leia looked out at the Hope network stretching across the solar system. The network's gentle pulsing reminded her of a heartbeat, the heartbeat of a living universe that was constantly growing, evolving, and reaching towards something greater. Humanity had passed its test and found its place in the greater galactic community. Now it was time to help others do the same. The work of nurturing life throughout the universe was just beginning, and Captain Leia Vasquez was ready to play her part in writing the next chapter of galactic history. The stars were calling, and humanity was ready to answer.